This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
So after 4 years of 4-star hotels and free meals and culturally sensitive food and free Ubers and free phones and free lawyers and free translators and free healthcare, we finally have a facility fitting of illegal aliens who break our laws, of illegal alien criminals who came here, who were lured here by the Biden administration for free everything, in the hopes that they would someday vote Democrat, in the hopes that they would shift the numbers in the Electoral College and give blue states more representatives. That was the purpose of allowing illegal aliens to overrun our country for 4 years. It's over. At least we hope it is over. This marks a big day in America, I believe. July 1st, 2025, Alligator Alcatraz is officially open for business. This is an amazing thing. It was built in 7 days or thereabouts. A week it took Ron DeSantis in the state of Florida to build this facility. You know what that means? It is bare bones. It is chain link fences. It is bunks, bunk beds. I don't think there's any air conditioning. I do not believe they will be serving culturally sensitive meals. It feels like today sanity has returned. Yes, make sanity great again. Doesn't have a good ring to it. Make common sense great again. This is the Trump plan all along. Common sense. There it is. You're looking at Alligator Alcatraz from the inside. Here's a tour. This is how they are supposed to be housed. It never made any sense that blue cities, blue states were giving them luxury accommodations while homeless vets slept on the street, while people were kicked out of hotels to make room for illegals who committed the crime of coming into our country and continue to commit crimes. It was madness. We will look back someday on the 4 years of Joe Biden, and we will say, why? Why did we allow that to happen to our country? Why did people like Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungree and Rachel Marin, why did they have to die? Why did a woman have to be set on fire on the New York subway? Why? These were crimes that didn't have to take place. They didn't have to let these people into our country, but they did. They allowed it. Judges allowed it. There was no Senate parliamentarian ruling against it. It was just a policy. Fly them in. Chris Murphy, the smarmy, scummy senator from Connecticut, said the other day that he wouldn't give the Trump administration credit for closing the border because what they're doing is illegal. He said it's against the law. So he had no problem when Joe Biden allowed 20 million illegals to come into the country, indeed flying them in on government jets from Haiti and Venezuela and Guatemala in the dead of the night and settling them in the country, in the interior of our country. That was okay. No judges issued injunctions to stop that. But this is against the law, according to Chris Murphy. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think Trump is having a blast. I think that bothers Democrats more than anything. Trump is dismantling the Biden-Obama agenda. Trump is repairing the damage Joe Biden did, and he's having a blast while doing it. He left the White House this morning with a Gulf of America hat on and headed down to Florida to be there with Kristi Noem, Byron Donalds, the great Ron DeSantis, and kind of do the ribbon cutting at Alligator Alcatraz, which opens today. God, we need DeSantis. We need a DeSantis in every state. The idea that you could build this thing in a week is mind-blowing. They can't fill a pothole in Boston in a week. They can't repair a bridge in a decade in my home city. But damn it, in Florida, they can build a facility that's going to house 5,000 illegal aliens. They can get it up and running in a week. Here's Trump at the White House before he jumps on Marine One and heads down to Florida. He's got some helpful hints for illegal aliens who are thinking of escaping Alligator Alley once they get there. There's not going to be a lot of armed guards. There's not going to be a lot of electric fences, but we got natural barriers that are going to keep illegal aliens from going on the run. Here's Trump.
With the Alligator Alcatraz, it's the idea that if some illegal immigrants escape, they just get eaten by an alligator or maybe something. I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If snakes are fast, but alligators are, but we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay? It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. That's Trump giving hints, some advice to illegal aliens. Kilmar Obrego Garcia and his fellow gangbangers. If you're thinking of making a run for it, run in crooked. Don't run straight, or the alligators will get you. God, that must just drive Democrats insane. There is such a stark contrast at this point, right here, right now. Trump is just going nonstop, full speed ahead, trying to implement his agenda, trying to make things right again. Here he is. He's heading to Florida. He's going to cut the ribbon. He's going to thank Ron DeSantis. He's going to open this wonderful new facility. Then he's coming back to D.C. to hopefully get his big, beautiful bill over the finish line. You know how I feel about the big, beautiful bill? It's politics. It sucks that we can't, that we're not all on the same page with Elon Musk, who is pissed, who is vowing to fund a third party because he was promised Trump was going to make big cuts that go back to the 2019 spending levels. It's not going to happen. It can't happen, but it's not Trump's fault. Unfortunately, again, he's a pragmatist. He's a transactional guy, and he wants to get this done. So he's making concessions. They're going to spend way too much. They're going to continue on some of these wasteful programs. He said it. He said, we can't cut too much. It's not because of him. Hell, it's not because of Republicans. It's because of slimy rhinos. This bill is hanging in the balance right here, right now as we speak. They don't have 50 votes because we have backstabbing traitors in the Republican Party like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and Tom Tillis. Democrats don't have those. They all get in line. They do not step out of line. They didn't when Nancy Pelosi was in charge, and they still don't. They're fighting now to get one more vote, get it to 50-50. J.D. Vance is sitting there waiting to cast the tie-breaking vote. I think it will happen. They're just going to have to grease the palms of one of these rhinos, of make Lisa Murkowski or Susan Collins feel better by giving them stuff. That's all. We'll give you stuff for Maine or for Alaska. It's just so repulsive the way this whole process works. These aren't real Republicans. These are just traitors. They really are. It's disgusting. I wish that the voters could get what they voted for. We voted to stop giving Medicaid to illegal aliens. The Republicans in the Senate couldn't get that through. The vote went 56-44. You know why it didn't pass? Because the Senate parliamentarian, a woman, a Democrat, a partisan, said you need 60 votes at the last minute. She changed the rules. Again, Democrats wouldn't stand for this. If they were in the majority, they would fire her. They would arrest her. I'm not even kidding. They would say they'd plant something on her. They would get rid of her. But John Thune in the Senate is a spineless little hack. He's not doing it. He's not removing her. They're kind of okay with it. They get to blame her and they get to say, well, we really did our best, but we failed. So here's where we are. 44 Democrats went on record as saying they do not want to remove illegal aliens from Medicaid. Can you imagine that? Even 10 years ago, forget 20, 30 years ago, that almost the entire Democrat caucus is against kicking illegal alien criminals off of Medicaid. And then they will go before the cameras, Liz Warren and Chris Murphy and all of them, and say, oh, Republicans want to kick people off Medicaid. Yes, we do. We want to kick illegal aliens off Medicaid, and they stopped it. That's your Democrat Party. They want illegal aliens to continue to steal Medicaid. They want to, and Republicans want to kick able-bodied adults who have no business on Medicaid, people who don't even want to work. Yes, we want to kick them off too. Who doesn't? That is what 77 million people voted for, and for whatever reason, we can't get what we voted for. We have the House, we have the Senate, we have the White House, hell, we have the Supreme Court, and we can't kick illegal aliens off Medicaid because Democrats' top priority is illegal aliens, protecting illegal aliens. They will stand there in front of the cameras and say, they're for working people. We are for middle class and hardworking, working class people. How does it help working class Americans, middle class Americans, to keep giving Medicaid billions and billions of dollars in Medicaid coverage to illegal aliens? Can someone explain that to me? I think I know the answer. They will not let it go. They can't let go of their most important constituency. That's illegal alien criminals. And I'm not kidding. They will stop at nothing to protect illegal aliens. Well, the marathon session going on, the vote-a-rama, the negotiations, the sausage making in the Senate is ongoing as we speak. And I find this just incredible. You have let's see, let me look, 5 senators over the age of 80 right now. They're going on 25 hours straight. They pulled an all-nighter. I haven't pulled a lot of all-nighters in my life. I did it in college. I've done it once or twice for work and had to catch an early flight, didn't sleep. It is tough to do. When you're in your prime, it's tough to do. I'm not sure I could do it now. And we have a senator, Chuck Grassley, who's 91. He's on the Senate floor right now. He's been up for whatever it is. It's got to be 36, 40 hours straight. Bernie Sanders, 83. Mitch McConnell, 83. Liz Warren, 75. Ed Markey, 77. Someone's going to die on the Senate floor. These people can't stay up for 40, 48 hours, but apparently there's no end in sight. It seems insane. The Senate is indeed a assisted living facility right now. We have so many of these narcissists who just can't retire, just can't go away, who think they're so important. They can't give up the perks and the power. And they're it's not going to be pretty when this ends. And some of them step before the cameras. They're going to be drooling and slopping and stumbling. And we hope they all come out of it okay. But I have my doubts. I don't think 91-year-olds are supposed to stay up for 20 or for 40 hours. It doesn't seem to make any sense. But that's where we are. They are trying to push this over the finish line. I think they will. Trump is insistent. Trump's ready to primary anyone who votes against it, and he will do that. And he will claim it's a wonderful thing, the big beautiful bill. It's not, but it's the best he could do. I think he will get it done, and I think the Trump role will continue. It's hard to believe how much he's accomplished just in the last. You can't even keep track of it. You have in the last 10 days, end the war in Iran, between Iran and Israel, blow up, obliterate Iran's nuclear facilities, go to NATO and have them fawning all over them, and have all these countries promise to finally pay their fair share. End a war in the Congo, between the Congo and Rwanda. Just happen to throw that one in there. Big, big wins at the Supreme Court. We went over them yesterday. 4 big wins, huge wins. He is rolling right now, and I think he wants to roll right into the 4th of July with the big, beautiful bill, and I think he will do it. Boy, we have some more big wins. We got to get to the latest on Ironhead's favorite punk rap duo. I've seen them called rap. I've seen them called hip hop. I've seen them called punk. Bob Dylan will not be coming here for their U.S. tour. That's a great thing. And we have to get to the CNN story. This is incredible. CNN, as we know, are devoted. Their whole agenda is stopping Trump. They've crossed the line. They are promoting an app to help illegal aliens avoid ICE. They're not just mentioning it, doing a story on it. They are literally promoting it, and Tom Homan is pissed. We'll get to that and much more. But first,
Excuse me.
if you've ever searched for your name or address on Google, it's shocking to find how many results have your personal information, and it's not by chance. Data brokers and people search sites, collect your personal information, your name, address, phone number, financial info, income, and hundreds of other records. They sell it and share it publicly without your consent. But Incogni is here to put an end to that. It hunts down these unethical sites and gets your info removed from the places that expose your private information. You don't have to email anyone, fill out forms, or jump through hoops. They handle the entire process for you. Incogni is also continually monitoring if your data is put back into these databases, requesting repeated removals. This way, it keeps them off there forever. So you get fewer spam calls, spam emails, and you get more peace of mind. And best of all, you can cancel anytime, and they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can get it completely risk-free. Right now, you get 60% off an annual plan by going to incogni.com and use code word Callahan. That's incogni, incogni.com/Callahan, and use the code word Callahan at checkout. You get 60% off and protect your data for an entire year. All right, Democrats have a problem. The media, the mainstream media, has a problem. His name is Zohran Mamdani. He is a communist. He's a Muslim. He's a communist. He's a fanatic. He's an extremist. He's a lunatic. He's a 33-year-old Nepo baby. Who's never had a real job, who's only been a citizen for 7 years, and he is threatening to destroy New York City. And here's the problem they have, is he's the nominee. He's going to be the nominee officially shortly. And he's going to be the favorite. Poly market odds right now are 71%. He's at 71% to be the next mayor of our biggest and most important city. So the job of Democrats and the media is to run cover for him, as they usually do, as it's their job, to protect him, to lie for him, to gaslight the public and tell you he's something he's not. The problem is that he's been speaking out for years now, at least 5 years since he became an assemblyman, and he admits, he explains that he's a communist. We played you the clip yesterday, which was incredible. He says, quote unquote, the ultimate goal is to seize the means of production, right out of Karl Marx. That's what he wants to do. And every day, Democrats come out and says, well, he's tempered his views and he's not that bad and he's got some good ideas and he just wants, to make the system more equitable. They try to dress it up and they try to make him seem like just a mainstream progressive. They can't do it. They can't keep up. He just keeps telling the world that he's indeed a Marxist. Here's the latest. This is today. Get ready for Democrats in the media to lie. That's what they're doing. They are lying to you. He is a flat out communist. Here he is with details and graphics explaining his plan for housing in New York City. Go ahead.
Go further toward the Vienna model. We'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us.
That is incredible. He wants to build public housing. Hasn't that been tried before in New York City? If you fly into New York City, you come in from LaGuardia, you see it. It's just a disaster. It is the worst idea ever. And that's what he plans to do. With a big smile on his face, by the way. Here's the PolitiFact, which is an alleged, neutral, objective fact-checking site. It is not. It's another left-wing outfit. They write, quote, yesterday, this is from PolitiFact yesterday, claims that he's a communist are false. Why are they false? Why? I mean, he says he wants to seize the means of production. He wants government-owned grocery stores. Stop me when you get to the part where he's not a communist. Got a big smile on his face because he's an actor. He's playing a role. How do I know that? Because he tells you he's a devout Muslim, and he marched in the Pride Parade, and he said he wants to spend $65 million transitioning children, $65 million for gender-affirming health care for kids. You think a lot of devout Muslims in New York City or anywhere else are on board? A lot of them march in the gay parade last week? I don't think so. He wants to play it both ways. He's a Trojan horse. He's pretending to be a progressive and liberal. He really is a devout Muslim who wants to turn New York City into London or any number of cities, Birmingham, any city in, name it, any city in the UK has been overrun, just like many, many cities in Europe. It really is sad. But the Democrats have a problem. They're reluctant to endorse him. Hell, he's to the left of Bernie Sanders. Bernie never said he wanted to seize the means of production. Here is the aforementioned smarmy, sleaziest guy in the Senate right now who's angling to be, I don't know, vice president, maybe president, a candidate in 2028, talking about how the Democrats could learn some things from the communist. Yes, they could learn. Yeah. Why don't you do that, Chris? Promise free everything and promise to defund the police, abolish ICE. Why don't you promise to have government-owned grocery stores? That's the way. That's the ticket. You go, Chris. Listen to this.
There are certain things that he stands for and says that I don't agree with, but I think you have to pay attention to the fact that you had a candidate in New York City that was talking every single day about the cost of living, and he was proposing really big, sometimes radical ideas to take power from folks who have way too much of it, like the big realty companies that are jacking up rents in New York City and transferring it to regular people. He did have a laser-like focus on cost of living, on shifting power to people who don't have enough of it. And I think if the Democratic Party writ large spent as much time or as big a percentage of our communications time talking about the cost of living as Mamdani did in New York, we'd probably win a lot more elections.
Yes, good idea. Let's talk more like Mamdani, not like Mamdani. Let's talk more about redistributing. Here's what Shall do say: we shouldn't have billionaires. That's what he said over the weekend. We shouldn't have billionaires. So again, billionaires pay a lot of taxes. New York couldn't run without billionaires. They certainly wouldn't have any of the art museums or any of the galleries and symphonies and all the things billionaires pay for. He wants to get rid of billionaires. He didn't mention getting rid of millionaires, did he? You know why? Because his parents are millionaires. His father is a radical professor at where else? Columbia. His mother is a filmmaker. And they have a multi-million-dollar condo. And you know who lives in the basement? He does. 33 years old. And he lives with his mommy. He is just the single worst candidate in political. I mean, I thought Kamala Harris was the worst candidate I've ever seen. I don't think you get worse than Zohran Mamdani. And he's going to be on the campaign trail for the next 4 months. And they're going to have to work overtime to convince you that he's not what he says he is. That's the goal right now for the mainstream media, who tells you, no, the guy who wants to redistribute wealth and raise public housing projects and wants to defund the police, he's not a communist. No. He's just a progressive. Here's Trump, once again, asked about Mamdani. I'm trying to combine his name, Zamdani. Anyway, Mamdani, who eats with his hands, a multimillionaire who eats with his hands. Here's Trump talking about him this morning. Go ahead.
I think he's terrible. He's a communist. The last thing we need is a communist. I said there will never be socialism in the United States. Now we have a communist. I think it's bad news, and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with him, watching him, because he has to come right to this building to get his money. And don't worry, he's not going to run away with anything. I think he's, frankly, I've heard he's a total nut job. I think the people of New York are crazy. If they go this route, I think they're crazy. We will have a communist for the first time, really, a pure, true communist. He wants to operate the grocery stores, the department stores. What about the people that are there? I think it's crazy.
It is crazy. And I go back and forth. I said this before. I go back and forth to wanting him to win just to see, just because I like when people get what they voted for. And there's no doubt it will be a total disaster. There's not an idea he has that makes any sense. You want to defund the police? Hell, they won't have to defund the police. Half the police force will quit. Ron DeSantis is already offering them jobs. DeSantis is loving this too. He was talking about an entry fee, an entry tax for New Yorkers who move to Florida in the next year or whatever, because it's going to be a flood to Florida and to Tennessee, hell, to New Jersey. People are going to want to just get out. And the people who get out, they're the makers. The people who stay, they're the takers. You need someone to pay for all the insane things you are proposing, Zohran. It's almost like he doesn't even consider that. Like, you're going to lose your tax base. You sit here and you talk about raising taxes on white neighborhoods. What do you think the white people in those neighborhoods are already paying insanely high taxes are going to do? Many of them are probably on the fence to begin with, because New York is such a tough place to make a living, pay your bills. They're online right now looking at property in Florida and Texas and anywhere else. It's going to be a disaster, and I would enjoy it, but it's too important. It's New York City. I mean, it's the economic engine of the country, indeed the world. And you have a guy who is a devout Marxist who is likely to be the mayor. I don't think we can emphasize enough just how insane this is. Plus the guy is just, again, he will not denounce the chant, globalize the Intifada. He will not denounce Hamas. He blames Israel for October 7th. You have 2 million Jewish people in New York. How many are going to vote for a guy who blamed Israel for October 7th, who will not denounce the people chanting globalize the Intifada? You're going to vote for that guy? He hates you. He posted a tweet, and I don't know why this bothers me yesterday, but if you probably heard, finally, one of the victims of the Boulder, Colorado the Muslim terrorist attack in Boulder, the guy who tried to burn a bunch of elderly Jews alive because they were out protesting, or they were out imploring Hamas to release the hostages. They did it every week. They went out there to remind people that there were indeed hostages still in Gaza. So these old folks went out there with their signs and said, don't forget the hostages. Well, this Muslim terrorist made Molotov cocktails, made his own flamethrower, and tried to burn them all alive. Well, one of them lost her life yesterday. Karen Diamond, 82-year-old Jewish woman, died from her injuries, which means this scumbag is now officially a murderer. It's very sad, tragic, disgusting. Here's what Mamdani tweets. He says, I'm heartbroken by the news from Colorado where Karen Diamond, a victim of the vicious attack earlier this month, has passed away. May Karen's memory be a blessing and a reminder that we must constantly work to eradicate hatred and violence. Gee, why did the attacker hate her? What motivated him? Anything? Any theories there, Mamdani? Anything? She didn't pass away, by the way. She was murdered by a Muslim fanatic. And he doesn't mention that. He will never mention that. Eradicate hatred and violence. I don't know. I would say anti-Semitism played a role here. That's me. Maybe he didn't have room to put that in his tweet. But that's just so fake. He's just such a phony. He's a fraud. He is a Trojan horse. He's going to get in office and he is going to go to work, and it's going to be a nightmare for New York City. And you know what the problem is? You have a bunch of stupid, rich, entitled brats who think, he looks good on TikTok. He smiles. He's articulate. He hates rich people. And, their parents are rich, but you know how it works. This is a failure of our education system that people don't understand. Young people, we went over it before. He lost the black vote, the Hispanic vote, the working class vote. He won this primary. Well, first of all, he was running against a terrible candidate, Andrew Cuomo, but he won it because of white people, young white people and Muslims. And right now, we have a problem where young people hate the country that they're living in. This is the fault of our education system, of the Department of Education, of the teachers' unions. They're teaching them to hate their country. And this is the manifestation of that. This is an amazing poll that came out from Gallup yesterday. A record low 58% of U.S. adults say they are extremely or very proud to be an American, down 9 points from last year. 41% who are extremely proud is not different from prior lows. But check this out. It splits along party lines. Republicans in 2025, 92% of Republicans say they're proud to be American. 36% of Democrats, at least a little more than 1 of 3 Democrats are proud to be American. You know what those numbers were in 2001? Republicans, 90%. Democrats, 87%. So 25 years ago, 87% of Democrats were proud to be American. Now, 36%. So the next generation up and coming are not proud of this country. They think America is unfair. Hell, some of them think America is evil. They agree with Mamdani. Here's from Gallup. Democrats are responsible for the drop, with 36% saying they're proud, down from 62% a year ago. 1 year ago, 62% of Democrats were proud to be American. Now it's 36. Why? Because we voted for Trump, a guy who loves this country, who puts America first, who wants to make America great. This is only the second time Democrat pride has fallen below the majority level, along with 42% in 2020, last time Trump was in office. That was right after the George Floyd riots and the pandemic. So they're not proud of the country if Trump's in office. If he's not, they are. That's what they're taught. They're taught to hate him. Why? What has he done? Again, I ask all the time, you young people, you Mamdani supporters, tell me, what has he done? Not what he said, not what he posted on Truth Social, not the way he looks or sounds. What has he done to make you ashamed of your country? Ending wars? Closing the border? Enforcing the law? What has he done? The economy? Done great with the stock market, wages. What has he done that makes you ashamed to be an American, that makes you embrace a radical communist who makes you support a communist? I mean, when I was younger, it wasn't just my father and mother. It was teachers. It was other parents who told me communism is bad. Capitalism is good. We are Americans. We are capitalists. We want a free market. We want individual liberty. There was an amazing clip. See if you can get this from yesterday from this moron, Jamal Bowman, who was thankfully kicked out of the Congress, but he's still around, and CNN likes to put him on, of course. But he was on talking about Zohran Mamdani, and he explained that the strategy of the Republicans and conservatives in the media is to paint him as, because he's a socialist, as anti-American. And I'm watching this going, wait a second, that is the case. Socialism is anti-American. Listen to this idiot.
brown people from different backgrounds. The word socialism is weaponized as some kind of, anti-American thing. And, Senator Gillibrand and others seem to have fallen victim to that level of ignorance and miseducation.
That level of ignorance, he says, socialism is presented as some kind of anti-American thing. That guy was a congressman. He's now given time on MSNBC and CNN, and he's saying Gillibrand and other Democrats are ignorant because they think socialism is anti-American. I got news for you, stupid. It is anti-American. It's the definition of it. Socialism is anti-American. But again, he's a product of the public schools, I think, and that's what they're taught. We used to teach people that socialism is bad. And now, for some reason, socialism is good. We forget the disaster. We forget the Soviet Union. We forget how many times communism, socialism has been tried and how many times it has failed, just like we forget the lessons of 9/11 and right there in New York City, they're about to elect an anti-Semitic Muslim mayor. It is just discouraging. Yes, I think I'm against it. But I think there's 5 more days that Cuomo can take his name off the ballot. He's too much of an egomaniac to do that, but we need Cuomo to step out. It's somebody said, give him something, pay him off, give him make him a ambassador to somewhere, get him out of the picture. I don't think Curtis Lee was going to be a big factor because he's a Republican, but everyone has to rally around Eric Adams. Yes, they do. It's the only hope for New York City, but it just isn't going away. All right, we got much more to get to. Let's get to this CNN story. This is amazing. CNN, again, as we know, they hate Trump. They hate Tom Homan. They hate ICE. They're dedicated to disrupting, to stopping the mass deportations. But this crosses the line. I think we can all agree. They don't do a story about a guy who's got an app that tips people off to where ICE is. They promote this app. They literally give them an infomercial on how to get the word out to people that they have an app that will tell you where ICE is so you can escape, so you can avoid them. It's hard to believe that this actually aired, but check this out.
Administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICE Block, and it's controversial to say the least. Senator Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump, but Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
That is incredible. That is a commercial. It's literally a commercial for an app designed to help criminals evade law enforcement. And they give you a primer. Here's how you do it. It's easy to download. They won't collect your data. It's free. Everybody, it's free. What if they were doing this to help? I mean, they are doing it to help drug dealers and gang members avoid law enforcement. That's incredible. This is CNN for you. But Tom Homan ain't taking it lying down. I mean, imagine it, Tom Homan. Imagine being an ICE agent And you have a mainstream cable news network working against you, helping people. You're trying to find them. You're trying to find some drug dealer or child molester. And he's got his app out, said, oh, here comes ICE. I'm out of here. Thanks to CNN. Well, they said ICE didn't, get back to them. That's a lie. ICE, Tom Homan gets back to everybody. He's everywhere. And so are a number of other ICE officials, Todd Lyons. They're on all over the media because they want the word out. But here's Homan with Benny Johnson responding to CNN's commercial for an app to help people avoid his agents. Go ahead.
Let's talk really quickly about the excellent agents of ICE. Turns out right now that CNN is pushing an app to track ICE agents to help criminal aliens evade being detained. We have the article up right here along with the clip. What's your response to CNN?
It's disgusting. I mean, I cannot believe we're in a world where the men and women who enforce the law are the bad guys, and one who broke the law, they're victims. And look, it's already a dangerous job. ICE agents are arresting the worst of the worst. President Trump committed from day one. We're going to concentrate our effort on public safety threats and national security threats. So right there, the job's already dangerous. But when you're out there tracking ICE movements and giving people a heads up they're coming, that just puts the danger at a whole new level. It's only a matter of time for someone sits in hiding and waits for an ICE agent and tries to take them out. I mean, this is horrendous that a national media outlet will be out there trying to forecast law enforcement operations throughout the country. I mean, it's incredible where we're at as a nation. And I think DOJ needs to look at this and see if they're crossing that line. I think we need to send a strong message that we need to protect the law enforcement personnel.
They do. The DOJ needs to look at this, and they'll issue a strongly worded letter, and Pam Bondi will go on with Sean Hannity and tweet something and say they're taking it very seriously and do nothing. Again, I know we've said this many times. It's July 1st. Trump took office July 20th. Bondi shortly thereafter, Kash Patel, and still no arrests. It's just, I am surprised and disappointed. At this point, no Alejandro Mayorkas arrest, nobody arrested, no Chris Wray, no James Comey, none of the lawbreakers who targeted the Trump team, who weaponized the DOJ, nobody arrested. Hell, the Doge stuff showed that they've stolen billions. Well-connected Democrats in D.C. have stolen billions. As Marco Rubio pointed out, 88% of the money from USAID never left Washington. You know what that means? It was stolen, and nobody has been arrested. I'm not sure how much longer I can wait. I'm not sure how patient I can be. It's just really disappointing. I love Holman. I love Kash Patel and Bongino, but damn it, we saw the crimes. Now it's time for the arrests, and they'll do nothing. I mean, CNN is literally helping criminals avoid federal agents, and they'll do nothing except say, hey, CNN bad. They're the bad guys. Yeah, they are. So do something about it. Do something. I mean, Oscar, if this were a Democrat administration, they've been rounding up their political opponents every day. They'd be just like they did, taking Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro and Donald Trump, arresting them, trying them, convicting them. Republicans do nothing. It's just disappointing, but we'll see. We'll try to be patient. All right, we got an update on a couple more stories. We told you yesterday about Bob Villain, the rap punk hip hop duo, whatever the hell that is. His NBC, they call it a rap punk duo. So I think I'm accurate. I mean, they suck, but they were coming to America to do a U.S. tour. They were going to be in Boston on November 6th. It ain't going to happen. This is from NBC. The State Department banned an English rap punk duo from performing in the United States after they appeared to lead a crowd in chants supporting besieged Gaza residents and wishing death upon Israeli forces. Appeared? We all saw the video. We heard the chant. It didn't appear they did that. They did that. And they did in a country where you get arrested for Facebook posts about illegal immigration. This guy went before the crowd and said, death to the IDF, over and over again. And he said, globalize the Intifada and from the river to the sea and every other hate chant. And apparently they're going to do nothing to him in the UK. But Marco Rubio is, here it is, visas for Bob Villain and his group of the same name. So I guess it's his name, and they call the band Bob Villain. It's just confusing. Were revoked, quote, in light of their hateful tirade at Glastonbury, including leading the crowd in death chants, said State Department Deputy Secretary Christopher Landau. So they will not be coming to the U.S. So disappointed. I know you had tickets, Ironhead, but I'm really getting over it. And I love the defense of this, and you hear it from Glenn Greenwald and these other people that just hate Israel. Candace Owens, I'm sure. Maybe we'll get to Candace. And they say, oh, now you can't speak out against war. And it's only doing that. They're not speaking out against war. They're literally calling for the death of soldiers in Israel who are fighting terrorists, who are fighting our enemy too, Hamas, who killed Americans and took Americans hostage. There's good guys and bad here. There's evil, and the evil is Hamas. And we should all be able to agree on that. You can't come out there and support a terrorist, or that's not supporting a country, it's supporting terrorists. And that's not like saying, I hope the U.S. blows up the Iranian nuke plant. That's different, okay? We're the good guys. They're the bad guys. That's different. They're supporting terror. I'm not sure why that's so hard to understand, but people are blinded with their hatred of Israel. Maybe we'll get to Candace if we have time, but I want to get to this Jaguar. It could be my favorite story of the day. We did this last year, just about a year ago, I think it was. Jaguar came out with a new advertising campaign, and it was worse than Bud Light. Bud Light was just a dumb little, it was stupid, with Dylan Mulvaney in a bathtub drinking Bud Light, and they will never recover. It destroyed the brand. It hasn't recovered yet. That was a couple of years ago, and it never will. And I've said many times, it's really easy to boycott Bud Light because there's so many other chances. It's pretty easy to boycott Jaguar too. So they came out with this ridiculous, stupid, woke campaign, and it didn't work. Just to refresh your memory, here it is. It's hard to believe. Again, this is real. This is a luxury British car company, and somehow they thought this would encourage people to go out there and buy a Jag. Go ahead. Create exuberant. Live vivid. Delete ordinary. The guy in a dress with a hammer. These are all like non-binary individuals. Copy nothing. You know what's missing from that commercial? No car. There's no car on the highway flying around the turns. Just a bunch of weirdos, guys in dresses and non-binary people doing some kind of funky new age dance. Well, since that day, Jaguar is down a little bit, I'd say. Jaguar sales dropped. See if I got this. This is from the Economic Times. British luxury car maker is facing its steepest decline in decades following a radical rebrand that has drawn sharp criticism from industry experts. Only 49 Jaguar vehicles were registered in Europe in April 2025, a 97.5% drop compared to the same month the year before. 97.5%, their sales fell after they put out that commercial. When will these people ever learn? They just live in a bubble. They just don't understand, who they're supposed to be appealing to. They thought that was going to appeal to. So people looked at it and they said, screw Jaguar, and they bought an Audi or a Mercedes. That is remarkable. The entire continent, 49 cars they sold, which used to be a pretty iconic brand. 49 cars. Europe is the biggest United States, and they sold 49 cars. Didn't quite work out. All right. Before we go, should we do Candace? Can we do Candace? Candace Owens is just a fascinating case study on someone just going off the rails. She used to be mainstream conservative. She was with the Daily Wire. She was hired by Ben Shapiro. She was a good, solid, smart conservative. And somewhere along the way, she just lost it. She became a devout Israel hater, calls Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal. And she went all in on the anti-Semitism. She got a whole new audience. She's got a big audience. She's a big star, but she just gets crazier by the day. And it's fascinating to watch. And I guess it's working. She's probably making a lot of money and doesn't have to put in all that much work. I've always been jealous of Candace. You know why? When she left Daily Wire, she wrote a piece talking about her falling out with Shapiro. And she said she had a team of 70 people working for her. 70. I have one, half-wit, ironhead, and that's it. She had 70. What do you do to do a podcast? What do they all do?
I mean, you need three tops.
No kidding. 3, 5, that'd be great. I'm sure Megyn Kelly probably has a dozen, and like Rogan probably has a dozen, but 70? Anyway, I'm not sure how many people stuck with her. There was a bunch that stood by her when she left and went with her, but she has completely gone insane. Here she is explaining. She's made a big deal out of the first lady, Macron's wife in France, claiming she's a man. She has a penis. It's kind of been her thing. She's threatened. She's challenged him to sue her. She thinks she has proof that Macron's elderly wife is a man. It's kind of a crazy crusade to go on, but she did it, and people paid attention and pushed back and supported her. It's been a big issue for her. Here she is claiming the White House called her to ask her to stop because it's affecting the ceasefire negotiations, the peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Yes, she actually says that. It gets a little redundant. We'll play a minute of it, but she actually claimed that she was talking to someone at the White House and Trump was listening in. This is just too crazy. Go ahead.
When I call that person back, they tell me something that is even stranger. They say, look, I again am the messenger here. What I was told from somebody that's pretty high up at the White House is that Emmanuel Macron is holding up negotiations to end the Russian and Ukrainian war unless you stop speaking about his wife. I'm just going, what? What are you saying? What are we even speaking about? What do you mean negotiations between Russia and Ukraine? I'm just like, looking into a story at my house. I've got a very small team here. And you're telling me that somehow negotiations are being held up and it needs to be communicated to me that I got to stop talking about Brigitte? What are we saying? And then I'm asking myself in my mind, because I hang up this phone, I am in true shock. Did Emmanuel Macron pretend to fly into DC under the guise of negotiations, the Russia and Ukraine war, and then instruct someone on his entourage to have an off the books discussion, a little meeting on the side, maybe somebody again, like a Susie Wiles, where he made his truer demands? Like, hey, this is for the pictures. Me and Trump are talking about you. We're going to get it done. And then what really goes on behind the scenes is like, we're not doing anything until that little podcaster, Candace, agrees to shut her mouth. What? This is crazy. This is absolutely.
Yes, it is. You're right. You're right, Candace. It is absolutely crazy. You're going to make a claim like that. Don't you have to have some kind of, proof? Like Trump did when he talked to Gavin Newsom. He showed the phone call. Show the phone call. Tape it, or at least show that you spoke to someone at the White House. I mean, that is insane that they would reach out to her and tell her to stop calling the first lady of Paris, of France, a man. And then we can get back to peace talks. If she could prove that, it would be amazing. But whatever. I don't think she cares. She's getting real traction by saying really crazy things. I think she wants to be, Alex Jones at this point. And hey, it's working. She has a small team. Now she says Ironhead, just a small team.
Just a small country.
Yeah. I got a really small, well, he's not small, but I got a really small team with one large individual. But
I'm pretty jacked.
All right, we're going to leave it there. It's July 1, Tuesday. We're going to take a really long weekend. Although, we'll never know. If something big happens, we'll be back. I'm ready to go. I'll drag Ironhead off the beach, and we will do it if something big breaks. Looks like the vote-a-rama is still going on in the Senate, so we're not going to have a big, beautiful bill this morning, but hopefully it'll get done. But we will see. Ironhead's supposed to put something together, some kind of best of. Good luck with that, Ironhead. I'll see how it goes. But
it's too much good to pick from.
We'll have something over the weekend, but we will take a break and we will return next week. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we'll do it again soon.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've